The word hypersonic sounds futuristic, but it just means very, very fast. In science, anything moving faster than 5 times the speed of sound is called hypersonic. The speed of sound is about 1,235 kilometers per hour, or 767 miles per hour, at sea level. That means hypersonic missiles travel at over 6,000 kilometers per hour, more than a mile every second. This speed makes them much harder to see and stop. Why does speed matter so much? On the battlefield, time is everything. Traditional missiles or planes can be spotted and shot at before they hit their targets. But hypersonic missiles give defenders much less warning. By the time radar spots them, there's often only a brief moment left to react. Speed also adds to the difficulty of defending against these weapons. At hypersonic speeds, small changes in direction make a huge difference. This allows hypersonic missiles to dodge or jink while closing in on their target. The result? Defenders are left guessing, and that makes everything much more dangerous. In the end, hypersonic means more than just fast. It means unpredictable, hard to stop, and a real challenge for anyone hoping to stay safe at sea. Hypersonic missiles come in 2 main types: hypersonic glide vehicles, or HGVs, and hypersonic cruise missiles, or HCMs. Both are fast, but they work in different ways. Let's look at each type in simple terms. A hypersonic glide vehicle starts off riding on a rocket, much like a space launch. The rocket boosts it high above the Earth, sometimes near the edge of space. Then, the glide vehicle separates and swoops down toward its target, gliding at hypersonic speed. Because it flies so high and so fast, it is tough to track and even tougher to intercept. Hypersonic cruise missiles are different. Instead of riding on a rocket, they use special engines called scramjets. These engines take in air as the missile flies and burn fuel at hypersonic speed. This allows the missile to fly lower than an HGV, skimming close to the sea, and makes it harder for radar to see it coming. Both types are deadly, but each has strengths. HGVs travel farther and can dodge more easily, while HCMs can sneak in under radar and are fast from start to finish. Together, they give navies a new set of weapons and a new set of problems to solve. Naval warships have many defenses. For decades, these defenses worked well against regular missiles and aircraft. Ships have radars, anti-missile guns, and interceptor missiles. These systems are designed to track and shoot down threats before they can hit the ship. But hypersonic missiles have changed the game. One big problem is speed. Hypersonic missiles close the distance much faster than older weapons. If a normal missile gives a ship 2 minutes to respond, a hypersonic missile might give only 30 seconds. Or less. That is barely enough time to spot, track, and shoot. Another problem is maneuverability. Older missiles follow a predictable path, like a ball thrown through the air. Hypersonic missiles can zigzag or dive suddenly, making them hard to predict. Computers that aim defensive weapons have trouble keeping up with these sudden changes. Finally, hypersonic missiles can come in at odd angles, or even from above. This forces ships to defend in 3 dimensions, not just on a flat surface. All these changes mean that what worked yesterday might not work today. Defending against hypersonic missiles is much harder, and navies are scrambling to catch up. Hypersonic missiles are not just fast, they hit with huge energy. Think about a car crash at 50 miles per hour. Now imagine something heavier than a car, moving at more than a mile per second. Even without explosives, that much speed can punch through thick armor and cause massive damage. When a hypersonic missile hits a ship, it delivers a shockwave, heat, and shrapnel. The impact can rip holes in steel, start fires, and knock out important ship systems. If the missile also has a warhead, the explosion adds to the destruction. These missiles do not need to be nuclear to be deadly. For example, the Russian Zircon missile is said to travel at up to Mach 9, or 9 times the speed of sound. At that speed, it can smash through almost any ship's defenses and destroy anything it hits. The United States and China have similar weapons, each designed to cause maximum damage in seconds. Even if a ship survives the first hit, it may be crippled. Fires, flooding, and loss of power can make it useless for the rest of the battle. Hypersonic missiles turn every hit into a disaster, not just a dent. Aircraft carriers are the biggest and most important ships in a navy. They carry dozens of planes and hundreds of sailors. Because they are so valuable, they are protected by other ships and layers of defense. But hypersonic missiles create a new danger that is hard to defend against. Carriers are large targets. Even at long distances, they can be found by satellites, submarines, or drones. Once spotted, their sheer size and value make them the #1 target for hypersonic weapons. A single successful hit could stop flight operations, destroy equipment, or even sink the ship. Why is this so serious? Carriers are floating airports. If they are put out of action, a whole region can lose air power for days or weeks. This could tip the balance in a war or stop a major operation before it begins. Carriers are also expensive. They take years to build and cost billions of dollars. Losing one, or even having it badly damaged, would be a disaster. That is why navies are so worried about the new hypersonic threat. Some headlines claim that hypersonic missiles can sink any ship. That is not quite true. Ships are built to survive damage, with watertight doors and backup systems. Sometimes, even after a missile hit, a crew can save the ship. But even if a ship does not sink, it can still be put out of action. A missile can destroy radar, engines, or weapons. Fires can keep planes from taking off or landing. If the ship cannot fight, it is as good as gone for that battle. Also, some ships are smaller or move quickly, making them harder to hit. Others might have better defenses, but the real danger is not just sinking ships, it is making them useless. A navy full of damaged ships cannot win battles. So, while sink any ship is an exaggeration, the threat is still very real. Hypersonic missiles are a game changer, even if they do not always sink their targets. Imagine for a second, trying to block just one fastball thrown at you. Now picture 10 coming at you all at once from different directions. That basically is the idea behind a saturation attack. Navies are concerned that enemies might launch not just one, but many hypersonic missiles at the same time. Each of those missiles needs to be tracked, targeted, and actually hit by defense systems. But honestly, current technology can only handle so many threats at once. If too many missiles come in together, some will get through, no matter how advanced your defenses are. This becomes even more challenging if some missiles fly high while others skim low over the sea. Saturation attacks aren't just a new thing with hypersonic missiles. They've always been a threat. But now, with missiles that are faster and more maneuverable, the danger is way greater. Sure, one or two might be stopped, but what about 5, 10, or even 20? In a real battle, a saturation attack could overwhelm even the best defenses out there. That's exactly why navies are searching for new ways to spot and destroy missiles before they can get close. Navies are not just sitting still. Around the world, scientists and engineers are working hard on new ways to defend against hypersonic missiles. Some of these ideas are super high-tech, while others use old tricks in new ways. One approach is to develop better radar. New radars that can spot fast-moving objects sooner and track them more accurately. Another idea that's gaining ground is laser weapons. Lasers travel at the speed of light and could, in theory, zap missiles before they ever hit. Some ships might also carry more interceptor missiles or use electronic jamming to confuse the missile's sensors. There's even talk about using decoys, fake ships or clouds of metal that trick missiles into missing their targets. More crew training and faster computers help too. The goal is simple: make it harder for hypersonic missiles to get through. But, you know, these defenses are still pretty new and, honestly, very expensive. It'll take time before every ship has them. For now, the race between offense and defense is closer than ever. Hypersonic missiles aren't just a new weapon. They're actually changing how countries think about naval power. In the past, having big ships and lots of planes was the best way to control the seas. Now, even a small navy with hypersonic missiles can threaten a superpower's fleet. Countries like the United States, China, and Russia are racing to build and deploy these weapons, and smaller countries are also looking for ways to get them. This all creates a lot of uncertainty. No one really knows for sure how a real battle with hypersonic missiles would play out. This shift also changes strategy. Navies might spread out their ships more, or keep carriers farther from enemy coasts. Submarines and stealthy ships could become a lot more important. The balance of power at sea is shifting, and honestly, everyone is watching closely. In the end, hypersonic missiles force everyone to rethink old ideas. They make war at sea riskier, faster, and a whole lot harder to predict. Hypersonic missiles are, without a doubt, a major new danger for navies everywhere. They travel faster than anything before, can change direction in flight, and hit with devastating force. Defenses are struggling to keep up, and even the best protected ships like aircraft carriers are now at risk. But does this mean the era of the aircraft carrier is over? Not quite. Ships can still defend themselves, and, honestly, not every missile will hit. Navies are moving quickly, inventing new ways to spot, track, and shoot down hypersonic threats. The arms race continues. For now, hypersonic missiles have changed the rules of naval warfare. They don't make carriers useless overnight, but they do force everyone to adapt. The seas are more dangerous than ever, and the next few years will show how navies rise to the challenge. The future of naval power is uncertain, but one thing is clear: speed, surprise, and smart technology will decide who rules the waves.